talking with James Schuette, the scenic and costume designer, we agreed that we wanted to have a Carmen that was really visible, that you could look at and in a way see anew, and yet not turn it into something like in outer space or something. So we gravitated towards the look of the 20s and 30s.
I've done productions where, the cigarette girls are in, white petticoats and corsets, and I've kind of felt like, well, I've done that. But for this production, I didn't see them wearing very underwear-based clothing. I saw them, they're in cotton dresses with aprons, and it's a very work atmosphere.
I had actually been looking a lot at Orson Welles films, in particular
A Touch of Evil.
A Touch of Evil, which took place in Mexico, and I was particularly interested in Marlene Dietrich, who appears in that film in mysterious ways. And the first time she appears with a cigarette hanging out the middle of her mouth. And actually, in our Carmen, you'll see the opening when you first see the cigarette girls, as they call them, or cigarette women, the factory women come out. They're all actually have cigarettes right in the middle of their mouths, a la Marlene Dietrich. With their mouths open a bit.
I really think of staging as choreography. It could be the simplest, most pedestrian thing, but if it's treated differently, it comes alive and it has meaning. So we pay really close attention to what the bodies are doing in any given moment, and every gesture they make and every shape has so much meaning, along with what is being said / sung. Since
Escamillo is a toreador, since the last act happens in front of a bullfighting venue, it seems a no-brainer to me that the entire event is a kind of public spectacle. Between the singers and the audience, you create a ring, and the singers, in the way they're paying attention, teach the audience how to pay attention, and suddenly we're in a big arena in which there's a glorious and horrible death in the way that in bullfighting there is a glorious and horrible death. I think that music actually rechannels your synaptic patterning of the brain, and this opera has done that for me. All of the staging is based on listening to the music.
If you really listen, it is so full of colour and variety and harmonic tension and brilliant timing on the stage. I mean, he was obviously a man of the theatre. A lot of it makes tremendous sense. You just do what's in the music, and it's the tension that he builds up. Everything, it's all there in the music.
I do like Act 2 quite a bit.
I really like Act 3 a lot.
Oh yeah, Act 3 is nice too.
I just think everything is so beautiful, and the music in Act 3 I really love. I think musically the quintet in Act 2 I just think is killer.
I feel like in the second act between Carmen and Don Jose, when I listened to it before we started working, I kept feeling like one character would push the other one musically to higher and higher levels until it just exploded. That's
Bizet's genius, that he can wind the tension up and up and up, and then you think it's over, and then he starts again.
Yeah.
It goes up in several waves, doesn't it?
Exposing the back wall was more a gesture of placing this environment into the bigger environment of Glimmerglass, and it's really kind of tailored to Glimmerglass because it's like you have a special theater here. It's very intimate, and just being around all this nature, and I don't know, there's something how just the simplicity of it seems to work very well.
The theatre is very special. I don't know how much people realise that, but it does contribute to the sound and the staging, and everything is different. And everybody in the audience can see the faces of the singers. They can see the eyes, they can see the reactions.
There's not a bad seat, really.